Okay, so if you're a person who is getting charged £2.70 a month for caller display and you're not interested in being charged £2.70 a month for caller display, perhaps you have broadband installed on a line, perhaps you don't make very many calls and you don't want to be charged for caller display. Even though caller display, I might add, by BT is generally listed wherever it is in their material as being costing £0. I'll explain how do you get caller display removed from your bill every month. So first of all, you want to come up here and you want to click on My Phone up here where it says My Phone. Okay, so click on that. And then you want to come down here where it says Calling Features, and you want to click on that, Calling Features. And then once you've got calling features selected, you want to come up here and click on the pink button that says Change Your Calling Features. And then you want to select the landline, which you want to change the calling features on. Okay, and then you have to wait, and they advertise for you. They're sponsoring the Olympics with the money that they get from you. Marvellous. Now, the difference between being charged for caller display and not is the difference between selecting these two radio buttons. So at the moment you see here that I have selected BT Privacy at Home. Now that means that there's no possibility of you ever being charged £2.70 for caller display. Notice up here that it says BT Privacy at Home with free caller display. Note the word free. Note also the monthly cost, that it is classed as being £0. Now you would assume, by looking at this information, which is the information that BT is providing you with, in order to choose whether to select this one or that one, that that would be, that this is the information necessary to make that decision as to whether you want to contractually oblige with BT to pay for something or not. So if you look at these two radio buttons, you can see that both items cost £0. One comes with an extra thing called free caller display. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, really, to select free caller display, doesn't it? I mean, after all, they're not going to charge you for it because it's listed here as costing £0. Now, note here, there are two links beneath these two items. BT Privacy at Home is one option, and BT Privacy at Home with free caller display is another option. Now, you will discover, even though this link here only talks about extra information related to the BT Privacy part of this title, that if you click on this little blue link, a pop-up will appear. And in this pop-up, initially, if you don't scroll down, you don't really see that there's a condition involved. But if you scroll down, right at the bottom here it says, important information about free caller display. A minimum call requirement of 2 calls per month is associated with this product. Calls can be chargeable or those included with your chosen plan. A charge of £2.70 applies in each month that you do not make the required number of calls. So there is the conditional, basically, that states that you will be charged £2.70 if you select that radio option and don't make 2 calls a month. As far as I'm concerned, that's not very clear. It's also tucked away in conditional text that is only apparent if you click on a pop-up on a link that doesn't describe that it's going to show you a conditional related to free caller display. In other words, the link that you have to click on makes no mention of free call display. It just makes mention of extra information about BT Privacy at Home. Because of that, I consider that this £2.70 charge is not clearly displayed to the customer, enabling them to be able to make the decision as to whether they want this service, BT Privacy at Home with free caller display, or BT Privacy at Home. In this process, I've been charged for the last year and a half for caller display, and I haven't even had a telephone hooked up to my landline, so they haven't had to display any telephone numbers for me. This is deceptive. As far as I'm concerned, on this list of calling features here, BT Privacy at Home with free caller display should be listed as £2.70 here, and then there should be a button that says, I understand that if I make 2 calls a month, this will be reduced to £0. And there should be another little radio button, which is a sub-radio button to this, that you click on, and then that price is struck through, and it is then, the £2.70 that would be here is struck through, and is then listed as £0. It has then been informed, you've been clearly informed as the customer in the contractual agreement between you and BT, that the reduction of this free caller display to £0 is conditional on something. As far as I'm concerned, it's very difficult for the customer to assert that free caller display is going to cost you something from the information that they are presenting you with here. You might say that clicking on this link does inform you, but clicking on this link would only be something that is apparent to do if they also had on here more about BT privacy at home and free caller display. Now you might think, well, surely this link says the same information, so whichever conditional you click on, it will tell you about this free caller display charge if you don't make 2 calls. Aha, you're wrong. The 2 links look the same, but if we click on this one, you'll see that there is absolutely no mention of the free caller display charge down here. So, in a way, although these 2 links look identical, they actually provide completely different sets of information. Well, not completely different, but largely different sets of information. The one up here informs you about a charge, which the link doesn't imply that it would inform you about, because it doesn't make any mention on here. And it should really have tacked on the end here with free caller display, because then you'd know that the condition information shown in here also relates to the caller display charge. Well, it relates to free caller display, which in fact highlights that unless a condition is met, it isn't free. So, literally, the difference between being charged for caller display or not, if you don't want it, is these 2 radio buttons. So as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty deceptive, really. And I'm going to be complaining to them about this and highlighting that really they should change the way this is laid out, because there's not clear presentation of the costs that you will incur with BT by selecting 1 or 2 of these options. Both of these options imply that you'll be charged absolutely nothing, and that quite obviously isn't the case unless you meet certain conditions, and that to me is deceptive practice. Alright, so that's basically it.